My guest on the program today has been described as a generous giver, a pillar of strength and support to everyone who comes in contact with her, an educationist of rare quality, vivacious in nature, loving, intelligent, and hospitable. She believes in the saying that life is not important except in the impact it has on other lives. She is Barrister Lady Chinyere Gbugu. Born into a humble family from Isiokwe, Amamponatachi in Oji River local government area of Enugu State, and nurtured by parents who helped to instill the spirit in her family life, she met and married the love of her life, Engineer Sir Timothy Gbugu, and the marriage produced 5 lovely children.
When I started marriage life as a young woman, a young girl, we left Japan about a year and a half after our marriage. Then I got pregnant in Japan of my first son, but I delivered him in Nigeria here, in Lagos. Then shortly after that, because of my husband's job, we left again to Italy, Milan precisely, where NNPC sent me again for a course or training. Then when we returned, he was posted to Warri Refinery, NNPC Warri Refinery. Then within that period, I was actually having my children going to school. Like I had my first son in Lagos. He studied mechanical engineering. My second one is also an engineer. Elek, they call it. His name is, my first son is Uzodimma Gbugu. The second one is Chinyere Gbugu. He lives in America now with the wife. The wife is an engineer, Uchenna. Is also married to Uchenna. The wife is also Uchenna. They have 2 kids too. 2 of them are pharmacists. They live in America too. And my 4th child, a special child for that matter, Chinyere Gbugu. She's a medical doctor. Though not yet married. Then my last child, Dadi. His real name is Chibol. He's an engineer too. Then on the whole, I would say that God bless my family with 5 children.
A letter from her father to her husband asking that she complete her studies made her husband give her all the needed support in her education. She had to combine the double task of having children and going to school.
By 1978, I went to Japan. My father wrote a letter to me, to my husband, gave me a letter, telling my husband that I must complete my university education. And I'm so glad that my husband kept to that. Because all this my education period I've been narrating, he saw me through them, paying school fees and doing all whatnot to ensure that I went to school, that I'm a graduate.
After her university education, her career life started with the Ministry of Education in Lagos. But due to the nature of her husband's job, she learned early how to readjust and cope with his numerous trainings and transfers.
Whereas others were struggling to go and do youth service, I decided to work because I was above 30. So I thought that instead of wasting time going to do service, let me just look for a job. As God will have it, 2 months after, I got a job with Federal Ministry of Education in Lagos and Victoria Island. So I got that job. I was quickly posted to Warri because we were living in Warri. So I started my teaching job in Federal Government College, Warri. Then 6 months after that, my husband was transferred to Lagos. So I found myself in Queen's College, Lagos, which is a federal school too, a very good school, where I also acquired all the knowledge I have today in teaching.
In her quest to further empower herself intellectually and academically, she had to study that which has been her desire through the years as a second degree.
By 1999, I went to Unilag to do my master's degree. I did my master's in education administration and supervision. Then after that, I still had that urge to still go to school to study law. I applied for law direct entry, and I got admission to study law in Unilag.
At this point, one would have thought that her success in passing out from the law school would have spurred her to do more in public service, but she said she had to retire from active service.
Yeah, I had to retire voluntarily because I said okay, I've seen a lot of people retiring at a very old age. And when they retire, they will be so weak that they can't do something else. Because now that I'm still strong, let me retire and see what I can do for myself. So immediately I retired, I also had time for my school in Lagos, And because of the little voluntary work I was doing, I said, okay, I thought it wise to open an NGO so that I will broaden it, I will make it official now.
Barrister Chinyere Gbugu, driven by genuine love and passion in seeking to empower humanity, with the help of her husband, thought it wise to do something remarkable for her community in the area of education.
In the past, people kept coming to us, we need money for school fees, we need money to do this, I can't pay for my child's school fees. I told my husband, I said, look, the best thing for us to do now is to open a school. So at least, because now that these people in the village, you give them money, they would divert it. So let us open this school and make sure that these children actually go to school. So by 2008, we opened that school. By name, Good Learning Academy. It's a non-profit school. We don't charge fees, especially for orphans and widows' children, and particularly the less privileged, those who could not pay school fees or who don't have parents to pay school fees for them. But those who have parents that can pay, they pay little money, maybe like 2,500, and we augment to be able to pay the teachers and run the school. But we supply them with stationery, that's school supplies, pen, pencil, school uniforms, free of charge. So, and since then we've been getting results.
A visit to Good Learning Academy revealed a solid building situated in a serene environment, well equipped with standard classrooms and qualified teachers, not minding that it is a no-profit school.
Now, who can spell head? Marco. Clap for her.
They also have well-equipped library where students come in to read, a computer lab, and arts and culture room to promote our indigenous language and culture, not excluding this spacious playground. Nurtured by her humility, meticulousness, and organizational skills, Barrister Chinyere Gbugu, through her NGO, Chinyere Gbugu Charity and Education Foundation, has empowered a lot of women and youths in her community.
We all know that women are, for me, the head, when it comes to either feeding or taking care of the kids. So that is what we normally do. Then for the youth, some of them also work in my farm. I have a farm called Timsal. Timsal is a combination of my husband's name and my own. So these women are now able to put food on the table for their children, thereby having food security for the family. Then within the ambit of that NGO, we still do what we call women empowerment and youth empowerment. Sometimes we hold lectures for the women or seminars where we encourage them to learn some trades, some vocation.
Like a star that shines for all, she has been able to touch many lives through her charity work towards the widows and the less privileged.
I have been doing a lot of charity, especially in my community. Even my school in Lagos, I gave about three pupils scholarship. They don't pay school fees because they lost their mothers along the line. Then down in the community here, because I'm from this community, I actually want to do something feasible that they will say, they will know, yes, this is our daughter. So with this NGO, we took off, even before I registered the NGO, what we normally do, or I normally do, is when we come home or return home for Christmas, I buy bags of rice, wrappers, all the food condiments and share to the women. I normally call them meal.
No matter the distance or rough terrain, she finds them. And no matter their state, she identifies with them, always believing that they deserve the best. In today's world, the quest to acquire wealth by all means is ever evident, and the spirit of giving gradually fading away. But the likes of Barrister Chinyere Gbugu believe so much in giving and providing succor to the less privileged. But in doing this, she also employs caution to ensure that this help actually gets to those who need them.
In the last 2 years, I now discovered that there are some widows who are not actually widows who come to share from the items we give. So what we decided to do now is to go around the villages, to give this in to people who actually need them. So we don't just enroll them just like that. There's a control. We have to find out, dig into the person. Then as of knowing who actually is the widow, you have to get a letter from your priest, your pastor, or whoever, and I ask questions.
Financing her various charity projects through the years is actually a huge task, including paying her teachers and maintaining the school. How does she cope with funds?
Yeah, frankly speaking, I've not been able to get any grant. Everything has been within my family. My husband will bring, I will bring from my own effort, my children will bring. The only time I got about 200,000 was in 2012 when we had our International Women's Day. It's every 8th of March. But I've been looking for a way to get grant. It has not been possible. I've been making application proposals to so many companies.
Barrister Gbugu is a mother, not just to her children, but unconditionally to everyone around her. Even now that her children are grown and doing well on their own, her house is still home to many who are not biologically her children.
So I have people living with me in my house. I have some girls, boys, and the woman in particular who is a widow. This woman lost her husband, Joy Uchenna is her name. She lost her husband 4 years ago. But she did not start living with me immediately. She started coming around me 3 years ago. She came to my farm to work. And since then, she has been living here with her children. So when they come, I will open my door for them, give them room, they will live there.
Barrister Chinyere Gbugu, through the years, knows the importance of education, and she is of the opinion that any society who wants to do well in future must pay adequate attention to her educational sector. She spoke about the challenges therein and how to tackle them.
So what I do in my class, in my school is, I go around, you apply, I'll do what we call micro teaching for you. So micro teaching, I'll what you teach. So if you are able to teach, have a class control, I will employ you. So I don't, because I find out that some people who have even B.Ed cannot control a class, cannot teach. And the challenges again is that most schools are not equipped. And the teachers will have to be equipped with whatever material, no textbooks. I have to fight for parents to buy textbooks for their children. You can't go to